So I've recently come to the conclusion that I am just hella boring. And you know what? I am perfectly okay with it. Um, I feel like the way that people define like worthwhile life and like saying whether or not they feel like they're getting the most out of their life is through experiences. Like you hear people talk about like, oh, I don't want to be, in no debt, but I didn't go anywhere. I didn't travel. I didn't, and okay, I get that. But also at the same time, like, there's a time where people who talked about experiences as a meaningful life were saying like, hey, I'd like to have a few trips. I'd like to be able to say I did X, Y, and Z, right? And those things used to be a small portion of how they lived. But it's getting to the point now where the experienced people sometimes are just as bad as the I only want things people, right? Because initially, the people who was like, I just want experiences, they were like the anti-things crowd. They're like, I don't need a fancy car. I don't need a watch, a big house, or whatever. I want to be able to travel twice a year. All right, bet, cool. That makes perfect sense. But like, if every single time you take an experience, you're immediately like, oh, I need to go to the next one. Like, I need to go to the next. I can't wait to the next. Like, you might be just as addicted to the highs of that thing as people who just want physical items. And that's not necessarily any more virtuous, or better. You just found a different outlet to feed, whatever it is you want to be able to do. And I get that. Like, I get that people like experiences. But I have never liked experiences to the extent that it has caused me to like freak out if I haven't traveled. Like, it's been a minute since I've traveled, right? And again, that's why I think a lot of people will call me boring. I do the same shit every single day. Like, I eat the same shit every day. I go to the same gym and work out every single day. It's a very big, like, specific regimen. My Mondays always look the same as Monday, Tuesday, whatever. But there's a lot of things that that come with consistency that I feel like all people want, but a lot of people don't realize consistency is the thing that gives it to you, right? Like stability. Like most people would say, I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. Most people would say, I don't want to be wondering how I'm going to eat. I don't want to be wondering if, my spouse is somebody who I can count on, lean on. But you have to be a stable, consistent part of your life, you yourself, if you want consistency out of your life. And it's funny, people consistently behave in a way that is anti-stability and then want stability. And I think that's why I'm okay being boring, because stability and consistency, and like, especially with kids, a place for my wife, my child, for them to lay their heads, for them to be able to go to the grocery store and not have to think like, oh my God, I gotta pinch a penny today. Like, for them to be able to do that, for me, is far more important than going on a trip. And if you're not somebody with kids, then yeah, obviously I'm not talking to you. But I would bet that there are other parts of your life where you want stability. And I would say to those people, like, maybe there's a reason things are unstable. Are there things that you could do to make it more stable? And I don't know. I've just always been very big on controlling the things you can control. And yeah, as a result, that means sometimes I'm just boring. I'm just a boring mofo. Like, you're like, oh, you want to go out? You want to do this? Like, no, not really. No. The other thing too is like, excitement comes with a lot of headache. like I don't know if it's just me, but the lives that I think some of y'all think's exciting just seems like so, and maybe this is me just being old, because like I'm 34. I would much rather wake up and be tired because I worked, or wake up and be like in good physical condition, but again sore because I worked out or something like that, than be hungover. Like, sometimes y'all define excitement by things that have no benefit to your body. And that be killing me, because there was a time, yeah, where I could drink and be hungover and be fine with it. But the amount of, like, when you're in your 30s, the amount of time it takes to genuinely recover from alcohol, unless y'all are just immune because you have a serious problem. I don't understand how some of y'all do it. Maybe you're stronger than me, I don't know. But the way that feels to me is not worth the excitement of, oh, I got to have fancy drinks at X, Y, and Z bar. Oh, I got to taste X, Y, and Z thing at, like I've heard people eating deep fried funnel cakes. Like, what? And yeah, okay, I get it. You get to say you did that. But like, how many foods like that you got to have before you can say to yourself, I've had enough of this experience? Like, that's what I really want to know from people who are like super big into experience, like foodies, right? I get being a foodie. What I don't get is being like a deep fried foodie. Like, at some point, you got to look at yourself and be like, yeah, my body's trying to tell me something. Like, this is not helping. But there are people who will say, like, and legitimately mean it. They will say, I would rather eat every type of food that is shit for me and say I got to do it because that made me feel good. And I think that's what it boils down to, is feeling good, right? Short-term pleasures are a motherfucker. People love to get that dopamine high. Me, I used to love to have edibles, right? So like THC or whatever like type of edibles they were. It was a mix of like CBD and THC combo. And that felt great in the moment. I don't do that anymore, mainly because the amount of like complete brain shut off that I get when I have something like that, it's not worth having to be zoned out for that long. Now, will I say I'll never do anything? I'll never drink again? No. But like, that has to be few and far between in order for me to function and have the responsibilities that I have as an adult. And the thing I wonder a lot of times when people talk about their experiences is, are you getting the other things done in your life? Because if you are somebody who like complains about how hard life has become, but you still are chasing those experiences, you can't divorce those things from each other. Like, the reality is that they're very intimately connected. When you spend a lot of focus on making sure your brain is happy, right? And I mean just momentarily happy. Your body feels good in the moment that you're sitting here addressing it, right? Because you've put whatever chemical or drink or whatever it is in you, or you've gotten some really big high from an experience. You are saying that today is more important than tomorrow. And I think the sad part about that to me is that it tells me that a lot of people don't think they have futures, because they're saying to hell with it, right? They're saying to hell with the possible future, because I don't even think that that's a realistic expectation to be worried about it. And to those people, I would say, do what you want to do, but realize tomorrow always comes, right? Whether you're a part of it or not, tomorrow's coming. So the real question is, where do you want to be in 30 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years, right? Like, I'm sure some of us, if we're honest with each other, we look back at 5 years from now and say, hey, you know, I'm in a decent spot. I could do better, right? I could have done things that had got me further. And if that's you, just be honest. Just be honest. Not everything that you do that's good for you is going to feel good. And that's why I'm okay being boring. Because although, as I sit in front of this gym right now, about to go in here before I talk to y'all, although I know that I'm going to like physically not feel good lifting the weight, I know that gaining muscle mass is good for my body, both now and in the future. I know that eating good foods, clean foods, fruits, vegetables, I know that that's good for me now and in the future. And although that pizza that I want sounds fucking delicious, if I eat like that every day, I'm gonna be fucked. So anyway, I just want to encourage y'all to take a more scenic route or a scenic approach when it comes to what's good for you. There's nothing wrong with chasing experiences every now and again, but if you chase experiences all the time, you're always going to need another high. You're going to always need to up the experience because eventually those things get boring too. So find some meaning in the consistency, because the consistency of good habits can do wonders for your actual health, measurable health, not just you feeling good, not just the mental, brain the dopamine shit that you get because you did something that you wanted in that moment. Do something that your body will thank you for in 5 years. And then come back and tell me that shit wasn't worth it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and commit to the promises I made to myself, which was going to this gym 6 days a week, and continue to see these results and continue to report in. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.